The small town of Ravenwood was known for its quiet streets and lush green forests. It was a place where everyone knew each other and secrets were hard to keep. But on one fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle, a mysterious event would change everything. Jake Thompson, a local mechanic, was closing up his garage when he noticed a strange light flickering in the woods nearby. Curiosity piqued, he grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the trees. As he walked deeper, the light grew brighter, leading him to a clearing. There, amidst the glowing foliage, he found an alien girl, her skin shimmering like stardust. She was unlike anything he had ever seen, slender with large violet eyes and delicate features. Her hair flowed like liquid silver and she seemed to radiate an otherworldly energy. Jake felt a mix of fear and fascination as he approached her. "Are you okay?" he asked, unsure of how to communicate with her. The girl looked at him, her expression a mix of confusion and relief. "Help, please," she whispered, her voice melodic yet filled with urgency. Chapter 2. The Decision. Jake's instincts kicked in. He couldn't just leave her out there in the woods. Without knowing why, he felt a deep connection to her. "Come with me," he said, leading her back to his home. Once inside, Jake provided her with a warm blanket and some food. She watched him intently, her large eyes filled with curiosity. He learned her name was Lyra, and she was from a distant planet called Elysia. As the night wore on, they shared stories, though communication was challenging. Jake spoke English while Lyra used melodic sounds that he struggled to understand. Jake felt a surge of protectiveness over her. He wanted to keep her safe, not just from the outside world, but from whatever had brought her to Earth. As he settled in for the night, he had no idea that Lyra's arrival coincided with her planet's mating season, a time of heightened instincts and emotional turmoil for her species. Chapter 3. Unraveling Secrets. Over the next few days, Jake and Lyra developed a routine. He taught her English while she shared snippets of her culture and life on Elysia. However, he noticed changes in her behavior. She became increasingly restless, her violet eyes flickering with an intensity he didn't understand. One evening, as they sat outside under a blanket of stars, Jake felt a strange energy in the air. Lyra gazed at the sky, her expression shifting from wonder to something more primal. "Jake," she said, her voice low and sultry, "I need to tell you something." "What is it?" he asked, sensing the seriousness in her tone. "It's my mating season," she confessed, her cheeks turning a shade of lavender. "I didn't know I would arrive on your planet during this time." Jake's heart raced, but he didn't fully grasp the implications of her words. "What does that mean?" he asked, his confusion evident. "It means I'm drawn to you," she said, her eyes locking onto his. "It's instinctual." Chapter 4. The Tension. As the days passed, the tension between them grew. Lyra's presence became intoxicating, her pheromones subtly affecting Jake's consciousness. He found himself drawn to her, feeling a connection that transcended words. But he was also terrified of the unknown. One night, as they sat together by the fireplace, Lyra leaned closer, her breath warm against his skin. "Jake, I can feel you," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're safe for me." Jake's heart thudded in his chest. "Lyra, I want to keep you safe too," he said, his voice shaky. "But I don't understand what you really need." Lyra's gaze softened, but the primal energy around her intensified. "You are more than a protector to me. You are a part of me," she said, her lips curving into a slight smile. Chapter 5. The Choice. As Lyra's mating season progressed, Jake found it increasingly difficult to resist her allure. The nights were filled with a magnetic pull that drew them closer, and yet fear held him back. He didn't want to cross a line he didn't understand. One evening, Lyra took his hand, her touch sending shivers down his spine. "You must decide, Jake," she said, her voice low and inviting. "I need you to understand what this means for us." "What if I'm not ready?" he asked, uncertainty flooding his mind. "Then I will respect your choice," she replied, her expression shifting to one of sadness. "But know that my instincts are strong, and I cannot fight them forever." Chapter 6: The Confrontation. The following days were a whirlwind of emotions for Jake. He found himself daydreaming about Lyra, about the possibilities that lay ahead. But as the mating season approached its peak, the primal energy around them became almost unbearable. One night, Jake awoke to find Lyra standing by the window, staring out at the moonlit night. She seemed lost, her violet eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I feel so alone, even with you here," she confessed, turning to face him. "Lyra, I don't want to hurt you," Jake said, his voice filled with concern. "I just don't know what to do." "Do you want me?" she asked, her voice a mixture of vulnerability and strength. "I do," he admitted, stepping closer. "But I don't want to rush into something I don't understand." Lyra's expression softened, and she took a step toward him. "Then let me show you," she said, her voice a sultry whisper. The air around them crackled with tension as they stood on the brink of a decision that would change their lives forever. Chapter 7: The Union. In that moment, Jake realized that love transcended worlds and species. He stepped forward, closing the distance between them. "I want to understand you, Lyra," he said, his heart racing. "I want to be with you." Lyra's face lit up with joy, her violet eyes sparkling. As they embraced, the air around them shimmered with energy. In that instant, they became two souls intertwined, united by a bond that defied the boundaries of their worlds. The night was filled with a mix of passion and exploration, as they discovered each other's bodies and souls. Jake felt the weight of the universe lift from his shoulders, replaced by a sense of belonging and connection he had never known before. Chapter 8: The Aftermath. As dawn broke, Jake and Lyra lay entwined, basking in the glow of their union. However, the reality of their situation began to sink in. Lyra's mating season would soon come to an end, and they would have to navigate the complexities of their relationship. "Jake," she said softly, tracing patterns on his arm, "what happens now?" "We face whatever comes next together," he replied, his voice steady. "I won't let you go." Lyra smiled, but there was a hint of worry in her eyes. "The world may not understand us," she cautioned, "but I believe we can create our own path." Chapter 9: The Challenge. As time passed, Lyra's presence in Ravenwood attracted attention. People began to notice her unusual traits, and whispers spread through the town. Jake found himself defending her against those who were fearful of the unknown. One evening, a group of townsfolk confronted him outside the garage. "What are you doing with that creature?" one man shouted, pointing at Lyra. "She doesn't belong here." Jake stepped forward, his heart racing. "Lyra is not a creature, she's a person, just like us," he asserted, his voice filled with passion. "But she's not human," another voice chimed in. "What if she brings danger?" "She brings love and understanding," Jake countered. "We can learn from each other if we open our hearts." Chapter 10: Standing Together. Despite the challenges they faced, Jake and Lyra stood firm in their commitment to one another. They spent their days learning about each other's worlds, finding joy in their differences and similarities. One afternoon, as they walked through the woods, Lyra turned to Jake. "We may face adversity, but we have each other," she said, her voice filled with determination. "Yes," Jake agreed, taking her hand, "and together we can show everyone that love knows no boundaries." Chapter 11: The Acceptance. As the days turned into weeks, the town slowly began to accept Lyra as a part of their community. Jake's unwavering support and love for her helped bridge the gap between different worlds. One day, the town held a gathering to celebrate diversity. Jake stood beside Lyra as they shared their stories with the community. With each word spoken, barriers crumbled, and understanding flourished. "Love can change everything," Jake said, looking out at the crowd. "It can unite us, no matter where we come from." Lyra smiled, her heart swelling with pride. Together they were not just an alien and a human, they were a testament to the power of love. Chapter 12. A New Beginning. As the seasons changed, so did their relationship. Jake and Lyra continued to grow together, facing challenges head-on and celebrating their victories. They became beacons of hope for others, showing that love could transcend the boundaries of the universe. One evening, under a blanket of stars, Jake took Lyra's hand. "I want to spend my life with you," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "You've changed me in ways I never thought possible." Lyra's eyes sparkled with joy. "And you've shown me what it means to belong," she replied. "Together, we can create a future that embraces all." As they stood together, the universe felt infinite, and the possibilities ahead were limitless. They were no longer just an alien girl and a human boy. They were partners, united in love and adventure, ready to explore a world full of wonder and acceptance. Epilogue. Years later, Ravenwood thrived as a symbol of unity and acceptance. Jake and Lyra had built a life together, one that inspired others to embrace differences and foster understanding. Their love story became a legend, reminding everyone that true connection knows no bounds, and that love can shelter even the most unexpected souls. Together, they had not only sheltered each other, but had also transformed their community into a place where love, acceptance, and understanding reigned supreme.